Question number 2, Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Does he stand by his statement in relation to young people looking for work that they are, quotes, living in the wrong place or they just can't muster what is required to actually work?
The Right Honourable
Speaker,
Prime Minister.
As always with the member, it pays to thoroughly fact-check what he says. I stand by my full statement in the radio interview, which was, and I quote, "It's not to say that there aren't great people that don't transition from work and income into work. They do. But it's equally true that they're either living in the wrong place or they can't just muster what is required to actually work." As I'd said yesterday, my full statement was because they may have a drugs issue or a variety of other issues. Mr. Speaker, that's why the government has a significant program of skills education and training support to help those young people into jobs.
Supplementary.
Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
How many of the 74,000 young people not in education, work or employment does he think just cannot muster what is required to actually work?
Well, Mr.
The
Speaker,
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
I don't know how many people fit into the full statement that I made, but no amount of gerrymandering it is going to make it right, any more than when he tried to gerrymander his policy and got it wrong and abused the media.
Supplementary.
Order.
Good Lord.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
When he says young people just cannot muster what is required to work, does he mean they are lazy, drugged or pretty damn hopeless? Which is it?
The Right Honourable
Mr.
Prime
Speaker,
Minister.
refer the member to the full quote, which talked about the situation where a lot of great people transition through, but there are some young people who have a drugs issue, and that is an issue.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Tim McIntyre.
Oh, here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What recent announcements has the government made to support young people into employment?
The
Speaker.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the government has a strong focus on helping young people develop the skills they need to move into work. Today we announced a new target to have 50,000 people training in apprenticeships by 2020, an additional 8,000 on the current levels of 42,000. The government has also announced 2 new Auckland jobs and skills hubs, partnerships between central and local government, businesses and tertiary providers. Mr. Speaker, the hubs set up training facilities and wraparound services alongside sizable private sector projects which create job opportunities, giving young people a pathway to employment as well as on-site numeracy, literacy and practical skills training.
Supplementary.
Order. Order. Before I call the member, there was 2 very loud interjectors to my immediate left. I asked them to quieten it down. Andrew Little, supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Putting aside the government's latest admission of failure today, why has the number of Pacifica youth who are unemployed increased by 67% on his government's watch?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I refer the member to the fact that the government is lowering the NEET rate further with more apprenticeships from Maori and Pacific trades training, trade academies and skills hubs, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what is absolutely true is that we have very strong labour markets. The economy's generated 35,000 new jobs in the last quarter alone. Mr. Speaker, we have a huge number of youngsters who are transitioning into work.
Order. Point of order, Andrew Little.
So I'll let the Prime Minister go to see whether he would actually get on to the question. The question I asked related to the rise in the number of Pacifica unemployment, young Pacifica.
As I heard the question, there was a part that was led into the question which was actually unnecessary, but I certainly allowed it to stay, and that gave a more wide ambit for the Prime Minister to address the question. If the member wants that sort of specific answer, he needs to tighten his supplementary questions.
More sloppiness from the member.
Order.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Why has the number of Māori youth who have been unemployed for more than a year gone up by 48% since 2012?
The Right Honourable Prime
Mr.
Minister.
Speaker, I don't have those details, but what I do have with me is that there are 17,600 more Pacifica in employment in the past year alone.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Tim McIntyre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can the Prime Minister tell the House what programs the government is already delivering to help young people gain the skills they need and move into work?
Order.
Mr. Speaker, I do.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Well, the member wants to know, we have many programs including trade academies that give secondary school students the opportunity to explore trade and technology careers while still at school. fees-free tertiary training supports young people who have left school without NCA Level 2. We run trade training programs for 2,400 Māori and Pacifica students, up from 1,900 last year, and the youth service, which helps young people facing particular challenges gain the skills they need to find a job and help secure independent futures. Mr. Speaker, what we're also thinking about doing is running a one-off program where we'll hire one young person with an IQ above 100 so that they can help the Labour Party with their policies.
We're not.
Supplementary.
Shane, yours is below 100.
Order.
David's below.
Order.
Is that it?
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Why is it then, in light of that vast list of things the Prime Minister has given about trying to help young people, that the number of young people not in employment educational training is now 74,000, an increase of 3,000 in 1 year alone, and the government has had to announce yet another program today to answer the same problem?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the government's constantly announcing programs and initiatives and has done so for the last 8 years. And that's actually one of the reasons why, if you look at the 15 to 19-year-old NEETs, it's nearly at the lowest level it has been. Mr. Speaker, no one's arguing that there shouldn't be more opportunities for young people. I think the real debate at the moment, though, is that with a very strong economy that's performing extremely well, with very tight labour markets, there are tremendous opportunities to transition young people into work. And I think sending them bush isn't the right thing to do. Mr. Speaker, it's simply a statement of fact that I think these youngsters are going to have greater opportunities.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
When he says young people not in employment educational training are living in the wrong place, does he mean the 23,300 in Auckland, the 9,100 in Wellington, or the 8,300 in Canterbury?
Mr. Speaker,
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as I said, the member needs to go to the full quote, and no amount of trying to fix it up will fix up the botch-up of his Labour Party conference.
Answer the question.
Supplementary.
Well, that shows you how pathetic you are, that
Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Instead of blaming young people as pretty damn hopeless, lazy, drug addicts, or living in the wrong place, why doesn't he support Labour's plan to invest in young people, getting them ready for work and giving them a better future? Just.
Mr. Speaker.
Right Honourable Prime
Speaker,
Minister.
I haven't said those things, Mr. Speaker, and that's just another example of the member misleading the House. But then the member misleads the gallery all the time, which is why he gets so angry with it.
Order. The member cannot say that another member's misleading the House. It's effectively saying that the member's deliberately telling lies in this House. It's 47-4 if the Prime Minister wants to look at it, but he needs to stand and withdraw that last part of that answer.
Mr. Speaker, I'll withdraw.
Thank you. Point of order, Chris Hipkins.
Mr. Speaker, I want to raise a concern with you around the technical operation of the House, and that while the Leader of the Opposition was asking his question, his microphone was turned off while he was doing his question, whereas the Prime Minister went on to make some very out-of-order comments and his microphone was left on for the entire duration of that time, including while you were on your feet.
Yeah, I did detect that as well. I'm not sure why that happened. I'll look into it. When I stand to my feet at any time, then microphones are automatically ceased. But on this occasion, I was waiting for the question to finish. It was a rather lengthy question, and the bit added at the end probably didn't add much value to the essence of the question. I don't control the microphone. I'll have a look at the matter. It may have been just a technical mistake, I suspect. Order. We will get back to question time without the interjections. This is a supplementary question. Supplementary question, Derek Hall.
Prime Minister, does he believe his statements yesterday about New Zealand First community wage policy show yet another direct flip-flop by National, given Jerry Brownlee once said about the scheme, quote, "This bill simply sets out to say that we do not want hundreds of thousands of New Zealanders on the scrap heap. We do not want people suffering condemnation of unemployment. There is nothing unreasonable about this, end quote.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, no. As I've said, Mr. Speaker, there are plenty of occasions where the government have promoted a range of different schemes, but with very tight labour markets and the demand for workers. I think sending people bush is the wrong thing to do at the moment. We should send them into paid full employment.
Order. Supplementary question. Garrick Hall.
Does he believe his statements show yet another direct flip-flop by his party, given Nick Smith once said about New Zealand First community wage, quote, "Here we are with this good and moderate bill, and that it was a, quote, carefully thought out provision," end quote.
The Right Honourable Prime
Mr.
Minister.
Speaker, no, but I think the member's on quite dangerous territory if he's going to quote what the National Party said about New Zealand First from time to time, because it could get quite interesting and exciting.
Order.
Mr. Speaker.
Question number